to this conversation here. My name is John Gora, aka the Motivator. I'm with my brother Yemi Odubote, all the way from Nigeria. Not his first time here. This is perhaps his fourth time. We've been having this such kind of discussion with my brother from Nigeria, trying to bring some pure water for your drink, because we realize that there's a lot of dirty water moving around, being sold to most of the youths and the people who are supposed to be making the economy of all continents around the world boom. We've always been talking about Africa, Yemi, but we've gone global. So we are touching lives, we're touching minds, we're touching brains, and a lot of
Yeah.
people are joining us in this kind of a super discussion. So maybe as a lot of people already know who Yemi is, but there are some few people who might be asking, who could this guy be? And why is he here? So I won't do bad to introduce you by myself, Yemi. It would be better for you to tell us who you are, why you like to appear on my screens every time, and man, what are we doing together as brothers?
Wow. Thank you, John Gora. It's always an honor, a privilege to always come, to have this discussion based on youth development, African development, and every other thing. This is not the first time, and every time I get to be online, there's always been a great opportunity. So, hello everyone. My name is Yemi Udubote, and where should I begin telling you about myself? Well, I'm into people development and leadership. I love humanitarian work, community development. But as regards for today's conversation, I am the marketing strategist for Herald, that is African Intellectual Resource Organization. And so I am here to discuss with my brother how African can not focus on the problem, but focus more on the solution. Yeah.
Wow, this guy is a big man. If you guys have never met Yemi, you need to know him. He's a big guy and he's a big thing that is going to happen across the world. He's touching lives and I've seen it
Okay.
happen. It's something that we can testify. And you can also go through his work if you want to know what he's doing. He's also having a lot of work on the social media. You can check on Imey Rich, Imey Production, Imey Podcast. This guy is a big man. So, sometimes he's trying to himself, but we need to get you outside there, Yemi, and tell people the real person we are talking about here. We're not just talking about a small guy.
My brother. Thank you
Yes,
so much. Thank you for the
so
opportunity.
yes, so it's 10 o'clock. It's just something around 20 minutes past 10 o'clock, and in the night in Bahrain, and I think we are 2 hours in front of you, Yemi.
Yeah,
And tonight
yeah,
we're going to look at some possible ways and the most important resources that a continent requires to thrive. People talk about resources, people talk about money,
mm,
people talk about gold,
mm,
people talk about petrol or oil, and those
true,
are the resources. When you talk
true.
about resource, you say that, oh, Africa is very rich with resource that can help them to thrive.
Mm,
When you
true.
think about that, what people see in their mind are the minerals that Africa have, maybe the capital that the West countries have. People see them
Mm-hmm.
as our like they are our lords. Without them, we cannot live. But
Mm,
when we are discussing Yemi, thinking deeper, away from the minerals, away from what we always talk about as a resource that is making
yeah,
our continents to thrive, can we
yeah.
just get those things that you believe as a person who is a man who thinks that these continents, not just Africa, have got something,
Mm.
need something special for them to thrive? What are these factors or what are these things that you think these continents need and should be working towards, improving?
Thank you, John. That's huge. That's a huge question. The funny thing is, even as Africans, or should I say, even as people that are non-Africans, the way they see us, they always marvel at Africans. They say we are super intelligent, we are super smart. We are like totally different, and they don't really focus on that. Oh, these people because of the oil they have, or because of these resources, minerals that they have, and so answer your question, when you look at a continent, it does not matter if it's Africa or wherever it is in the United States or wherever your country is, five major things will always make a continent to thrive. And then in error, that is AI, we call ourselves error because that's what we have. We figured that these five things is what we need to adopt. And number one is technology. Number two is health. Number three is education. Number four is science, and number five is economy. And we call it this THESE. In short term, this. Because when you look at it, education falls, we talk about leadership. Before you can have a great leader, they need to follow in the line of education. You need to be updated in technology. You need to know how the economy works. You need not know them 100%. But if you have people in these sectors that are working diligently towards a better continent, the continent will definitely thrive. So, looking at that five aspect, when Corona happened, Corona became a new problem. We were all scattered. People didn't know that things that could happen. People were doing online meetings, online schooling, online everything. Technology skyrocketed, and people didn't say we're not going to do anything and everything's going to stop. But the continent kept moving forward. That's because the importance of technology, science, education, everything working together. I hope that answered the question.
Wow. That answers my question, Yemi. Because what I was looking at is was how do we define the factors that we should be looking at when we are looking at a thriving economy, when we are looking at
Mm,
Africa as a continent. We let's say talk about Europe or the America, North or South America as a
mm,
continent. What is that fundamental requirement that is going to make these continents thrive? Because when you start looking at some of the resources, when we say, for example, only the continent that has got mineral raw materials can thrive, then it means that it's only Africa that's going to thrive out of all the continents, which when you look at it
mm,
again deeply, it's a contrary to such kind of an opinionated idea. But when we bring it into something that you have mentioned education, you've mentioned technology, you've mentioned health, science, and economy. So, it's a wider thing. These are things that are needed in each and every continent, and it is
mm,
like a universal requirement because without education, we would not be doing what
mm.
we're doing here right now.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, even operating these gadgets, because right now there are some gadgets in front of me. For me to operate these gadgets to make sure that, we program and schedule these meetings, we at least need to have some literacy for doing that.
Yeah,
Even if I
yeah,
cannot do it, there should be somebody who is helping me to make sure that this is done. That is education. So technology wise, we have to
mm,
contrast and we cannot just
mm,
talk, even with education, if these gadgets are
yeah,
there, it means
yeah,
you cannot do anything. When you talk about
yeah,
health, man, if today I was fighting COVID-19 or Corona, as people call it, I would not be speaking to you. So health is very
mm,
important. And
very key.
about science, man, people are working day and night to get a vaccine for corona. People are working day and night to get medicine that can treat COVID 19. This is all science.
True.
And turning it down into the economy itself. An
Yeah,
economy can only thrive when we know what defines and what entails economy. So I want to get
yeah.
to details of each and every kind of these things that you've mentioned. Let's take, for example,
Okay.
education. What is education, Yemi? You can just come and tell me that for economy of my country,
Oh,
of my continent to
mm.
thrive, there has to be education. What is education? To what extent?
When we look at how over time we perceive what education is, Aside
Mhm.
from people that understand that it's beyond the four walls of the classroom, it's beyond the school curriculum. It is basically how you want to live your life. That is just education.
Mhm.
How do you want to live your life? What are those things you need to live your life right? So now, when we focus on education, it is like trying to build a young baby to an
Mhm.
adulthood. You need
Mhm.
to let them know that these are the right things to do, these are the wrong things to do. And most of the things are not in a book, are not written in the book. They are from the life skills, things that you see from people around you, things that you observe, things that you focus on. Now, education among for young people is becoming something else. You know, people don't even know what they need to educate themselves on. And it's a major problem affecting continent all over the world, not even Africa. What is it that I want to learn first? What is it that I need to know first? Then I can scale up. Then I can know.
That's one of the technology issues. That's one of the thing education is very important. If
Mhm.
you are educated, you should be able to identify a problem, find a solution. If the solution is not work, then keep reviewing. That is what Arrow is looking at. There are many organizations that are, telling us you need to be educated, you need to, but how can we even push education with the minimum resources that we have? Now you need to start with people around you. Look at people around you. Measure their level of education, not just the school curriculum. If it's to mentor them, Africans don't even know what mentorship means. To mentor, it's like an hard work. It's like going to see a shrink. But
Mhm.
with education with Arrow, we are going to be, aside from reviewing the school curriculum with the government, because trust me, our school curriculum needs to be reviewed. Aside from reviewing, we also have to look at how to help these people, these our people, these children, the youth, and also now present them with a reviewed version of what education is. Because now, if you're going to move forward, you need to understand what angle of education we are looking at. How
Mhm.
open your mind is to try new things, how open your mind is to technology. Do you even understand some aspect of economy if you want to invest? Yes, there is economy, but you don't even know what that aspect is. So, education is knowing a bit of everything. You don't have to know everything. Try to
Mhm.
be interested in knowing a bit of everything. Yeah,
Wow, that is excellently explained, Yemi. I really love
thank
you bringing it, and it defines what we are talking about here. It's not just about education, and even when you look at the curriculum, the setup of our curriculums, they differ. But at times you see, just like you said, why am I going to study a
you.
certain
Yeah.
thing? Should be a question, and that's why we have seen a lot of people, graduating from universities with degrees, with PhDs, and then
Uh-huh.
again sitting at the road or maybe somewhere
Mhm.
for a job, and
Exactly, because the school curriculum just limits you.
blaming the governments. There's no job creation and all that. The question is, sometimes, there's a videos I'm doing. I'm still creating it and editing it. I'm talking about people should rethink about a degree course in a university. Are you going to
Mhm.
do a course because you want to graduate, or you're going to do it because
Mhm. True.
targeting to learn something that you know where it's going to land you? You know,
Mhm.
if we are going to school to get jobs, if we are
Yeah.
going to school to get a life out of it, then we are missing the point. You know,
Yeah.
we should be going there to find a solution to a certain problem.
Exactly. Exactly.
When we go with such kind of a mind, then that's when the continents, the countries will start to thrive, because we are coming out with a certain solution. But imagine going through the schooling and then coming outside as a problem, the solution. You're coming outside as a problem because you're coming with a lot of blames. Some of us, like in my country, if you qualify to get a loan from the government, which we are referring to as help, you're coming out, there's no job, but you need to pay this loan. So
Hmm.
if your life starts to be miserable, immediately you graduate, you start to be miserable. So are we going to get education for a purpose, or we are going to get it to get jobs? It's very important. Thanks for bringing that
Absolutely.
up, Yemi.
Thank you.
Talking about technology, Yemi, you know, we have a technology, but how is it important to understand what kind of technology we need for a continent or a country to thrive economically? Or is it just because there's an Apple iPhone, there's there's a machine that is going to replace people from jobs like hospitality. There are some machines that are going to replace papers. Is it just about replacement of human resource, or is it just invention of these technologies, or are we looking deeper into it to create something that is going to create a solution, not to replace people? Because for me, I've never believed in a technology that is created to replace human being.
Mm,
This is not a solution. This I don't think
mm.
this is a solution. But I would wish to hear from your point of view.
Thank you, John. So just allow me to fuse technology and science because they're like
Mhm,
brothers and sisters. They go together.
mhm,
And if you'll agree with me, there are not much startups in Africa. You know, technological innovation. They're not that much. Yes, we have Paystack, we have Flutterwave, we have other ones around.
mhm,
But if you look at it technology wise, as a person, or maybe in Africa, we have more of creative people in Africa than innovative people. Now, if you're a creative person, that means you're very good in bringing new ideas. If we call a gathering now of about 50 youth to write something to submit their idea, trust me, you see a lot of people writing things down, the things that very amazing things they write it down. But when it comes to acting on that creative idea, then there's a problem because that is where the innovation comes in. And that is what we need to now build and focus on. We need to start building people that are innovative. So in technology and in science, we are not really talking about, okay, um, this is what we're going to build because we will be building things because we did a seminar, already did a seminar on, African Youth Bank. It's a
mhm,
technology advancement that is happening that is needed for African youth and Africa itself. But however, we need more of that for Africa to thrive. We need more young people, more people to be innovative. To be innovative does not necessarily mean to build something totally, completely new. It might be an improvement on an idea. It might be improvement on something that has been done before, because obviously there's always a starting point. So how can we look at this angle? We need people to encourage startups. We need entrepreneurs that are about to build a software mobile app. We needed to work together. So we tell people, or I always also tell people that if you want to review an idea, you can speak to a creative person. But if you want your action to be acted on your idea, you need to meet innovative people. So we need to get a gathering of young innovators. John, young innovators. Yes, we are creative. People know us. We can drop ideas. Now, for technology advancement, so that we can bring in investors, we can bring in maybe venture capitals, maybe angel investors, people that would want to see that Africans. Because if you check, sometimes I was looking through Facebook, I saw a young person that built a car from scratch with,
mhm.
you know, a small material that is really amazing. But whenever we see all those things, we get baffled, like, oh wow, so something like this can happen in Africa. It's because we are unaware, because we feel like our level of innovation is probably limited to doing petty things. People are not expecting us to do awesome, huge, big things. So
Mhm.
we need a gathering of innovators. We need all these investors to know that we are capable, even if we're angel investors. So that is the angle we are totally and really looking at, John. Yeah.
That's awesome. Very awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome, Yemi. And I think that just wraps up this kind of uh, it wraps up all this conversation. It deletes that kind of a mind that I told you when we were beginning this conversation. A mind where when you talk about what is needed for a continent to thrive, people talk about
Mm,
the raw materials. People talk about
Yeah.
the minerals that
Yeah.
are found in Africa. People talk about
Yeah.
how huge the Western countries are. They are grown. Those countries are already thriving,
Yeah.
but there is still need for all these continents to bring up mind and look at what education, the aspect of education itself,
Yeah.
look at what exactly is needed in technology. And what you're telling us is like we have more creators than innovators. So technologically, we need to start improving and creating more innovators than creators.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yes, and now before we wrap up and we finish this conversation, Yemi, looking at our time, we have this part of the health wise, what we need to do, what we need to know in terms of health when we want a continent to thrive, Yemi. This will be our last discussion or our last category in this topic as we summarize the talk, Yemi, this night.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, John. So, no, health is key. Health is important. We need the resources, we need the people, we need the governments, we need everyone. We need to make it right for the health sector. In fact, the health sector really defines a continent, a country, or even a state, or even your life, your well-being, your wellness. So, looking at the health sector, we need to really do more in terms of, aside from, if you look at old solutions, we always try to get the government involved. But now private sectors are coming up. HMOs are now doing more. So we need to encourage the HMO themselves to do more. For you to collaborate with private companies, it's actually worked out a lot of staff. So the HMO need to also find a way to even collaborate more with the government. That okay, the teachers themselves. I'm not sure most teachers in Africa have HMO. I don't. I'm not sure, except I'm not updated. But for private company, they have this deal with HMO on a monthly basis. They deduct money that isn't not much.
Mhm.
Let HMO find a way to collaborate with the government, teachers, their families, so that they can also have access aside from the government healthcare. In fact, it should be like a double plan. People should have a double plan: access to government, access to private. You should have not just one card. Having ease of access will cut down bottleneck, because bottleneck affects all of this. And I know due to time, I didn't get to mention about economy, which is super important, because now if you look at our economy, it's needed. We have a lot of economists that are really good. They write blogs, but we need them to come out more. We need them to tell us about how to invest, how stock works, how bond works, where we should put our money, not just lying in
Mhm.
bank and do all of these things. We need to learn more about fiscal policies. We need to know how to increase our aggregate demand, low cost of production. Those are simple terms that ERA is also looking at to put out to the public, work with economists, people like you, HR, wherever, because it's going to be like an African intellectual, a resource of professional. Imagine it's just like you have a pool of resourceful professional who are willing to do amazing things for Africa. Thank you, John. Yeah.
Wow. What more can I add, Yemi? This was the most beautiful discussion we've had so far. And just like I said, this is a big guy, and you, wherever is watching this, you should be looking for him. If you are having a podcast, this is the guy you should host to discuss
Thank you.
more about this. Yemi, this is just the start. I think
Yeah.
we're gonna get into more details and check each category and
Yeah.
give it a time and elaborate
Yeah.
much more in it. I think a lot of people would want to hear more about this,
Yeah.
what we just discussed about. Anyways, thanks for gracing this show. And
Thank you, bro.
I
Thank you
know
so
as a
much.
family man, you should be thinking about.
Thank you very much, Joe. Thank you for the opportunity. You're amazing.
You're amazing, bro. You're amazing. Thanks so much, and God bless you.
And
Maybe in
you.
just a few seconds, if you can leave us with a parting shot before I close, Yumi.
Okay, just to let you know, for any continent to thrive, we at AIRO, AIRO, that is African Intellectual Resource Organization, believe that we need five things to focus on: the technology, the health, the education, the science, the economy. So it is not focusing on the problem, it is reviewing, segmenting the already known solution. That is what we are doing. We already have the problem, we're talking about it for decades. But now we're focusing on the solution, we are reviewing it, we are segmenting it, and we present it to Africa. You could always reach us on our website, www.weareairo.com. weareairo.com. Thank you everyone for the opportunity. Looking forward to working with you.
There's,
Thank you, John.
there's nothing much that I can give you, Yemi, to appreciate this show, to appreciate what you've given unto us. And, I'll share it to all platforms for guys to see it. And I hope to have you again, perhaps next week or maybe after next week, Yemi. We have a lot of energy and we've got time. Let's create this thing and do it again. To,
Absolutely. Anytime.
yeah, sure. So
Anytime.
for now, bro, take care of yourself and enjoy your evening,
Thank you so much.
enjoy your
Thank you
night.
so much. And you too.
Good night.
Regards. Good
Good
night.
night. Good night.